Hey, what's going on? Welcome to Culturised. I'm so excited. It's season 7. It's season 7, right? All right, season 7. I'm just checking with the live studio audience. Thousands of people are here right now. Season 7, I'm really excited. That just kind of says, it doesn't kind of say, it says that you like us. Well, not me. You like my guests. Let me be specific. But this is a place that we've created, a space we created that, you know, to talk and share culture, whatever culture it is, whether it's social, whether it's ethnic, whether it's native. We want to give people like you the opportunity. If you want to learn about somebody else, or you want to learn about your own culture, I bring my friends on and we talk about things like that. And so by no means are we experts, but we're only experts in our own life. So, if you are watching on network TV, thank you so much for doing that. You watching on all the social media platforms like YouTube and all those things, we mahalo you for that. If you're listening in on the podcast platforms, we mahalo you for that too. Let's kick off season 7. I am so excited. I'm humbled and I'm privileged to be sitting in front of, because we're going to take you all the way to the south. Probably like 2,500 miles from here to the South Pacific, to the islands of Samoa. We want to talk Samoan culture because off camera, before I introduce my guest, we were talking, everyone wants to be Samoan right now. And I think it's a cool thing, but we're going to just talk about a little bit about Samoan culture. Reo Tafaʻi, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. It's a blessing to be here. In Samoan, they would say, "Oia o e mga kumayai." Who am I that you would think of to invite on the show and discuss?
Right off the bat, though, I gotta say, that's one of the things I noticed. You guys probably the humbleness of the Samoan culture. Okay, I just had to point that out. Go ahead.
But yeah, I'm blessed to be here. I just love sharing. I love my culture. I love being Samoan. And I just love to, we say fa'asoa, to share.
Oh, I love it. Fa'asoa, say it again.
Fa'asoa.
Means to share. Yes. Let me just start with this. Is what high school, you know the local, what high school you in?
The best high school on this earth. I went to McKinley High School.
The best high school. I have to say though. Is this you're our first McKinley high school student? Because I'm in the back of my head, I'm trying to think. For the most part, I think we've had a lot of Kamehameha school right now, right?
So much private school.
Just thank you. McKinley High School. Went to high school there. Where'd you grow up? Did you grow up within town?
I grew up in Kalihi, so I grew up in Merritt's housing.
Mean.
Yeah.
And so wait, you walked, bused? Dad was like, no, go. That's...
Oh, no. We were... my mom likes to tell us we were privileged. We were dropped off to school.
That is privilege.
Yeah. So this is a funny thing. We lived in Kuhio Park Terrace, but we grew up in Merritt housing.
That was the hangout.
Yeah.
It's like I sleep there, I hang out here.
So our grandma lived in Merritt. So every day after school, because we went to Like, you know, we did that whole Polynesian thing where you use your auntie, uncle, cousin's address. I went to Like. After that, we were at Merritt's, and then we were at Merritt's every weekend because our parents would be so busy with work. So that's where we grew up.
I want to touch on this. You mentioned grandma. I think it's. Did you spend more time with grandma or parents?
Grandma.
See,
yeah.
I always say it's such a people that have the opportunity to grow up with your grandparents. Is it fair to say, or maybe even equal, who did you learn more culture from? Traditions? Would it be grandparents or parents?
My grandparents.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What was that like growing up?
It was awesome. I was one of the few kids in our family that just loved the culture. I think right out of the womb, I was like, okay, give it to me.
See, you just read my mind for them, because I always ask the question, when did you realize culture was important?
I want to say when I was 5 or 6.
Wow.
So my mom then played Samoan cricket, and every year they would fly to different states to compete in the Samoan Flag Days.
Really?
So I would go to LA every summer for these Flag Days, and I would perform. I would dance. And back then, they barely spoke English. Like, so it was like, you know, you're sitting there, they're trying to tell you something, and you're like, yeah, say it in English.
Did you? Okay, what was your first language growing up like that? Was it English or
It was English.
Ah, okay.
But when we stayed, because we stayed with my grandmother, and my grandmother only spoke Samoan.
Ooh.
So it was like, man, you either had to learn or you just had to avoid her. So
She wasn't gonna budge.
Yeah.
Wow, I love
a lot
that.
of my cousins, everybody just avoided her. And I was just like, okay, let me just listen. I don't know. It was interesting to me.
We are sitting with my good friend Reo Tafaʻi. We're talking about growing up in Hawaii in Samoan culture. So again, this is Culturised. We're talking culture. We're sharing culture. If you ever had ideas or things that you may know about Samoan culture, we're sharing that with you right now. So if you're watching on YouTube, comment down below. Let us know if there's anything you want to talk about, anything you need to ask right here on Culturised.
Bringing you what matters. Viewers can receive the Star Advertiser Digital Full Access subscription for just $9.95 per month. Go to staradvertiser.com and click on subscribe. Use the code AHAITHING. For all your money needs, Hawaiian Financial Federal Credit Union is here for you. Visit HIFICU.com.
Hey, what's up? How's it? Aloha. Welcome back to Culturised. I'm so excited. I'm talking Samoan culture today. And, you know, from a personal level, see, you guys know when I bring guests on, I get a little bit, this is greedy for me because this is for me. I'm learning for me, but I hope as you're eavesdropping or you're watching that you're learning as well because to preempt this, so I've danced, you know, in Polynesian shows most of my life. And then, you know, we do Samoan sections, right? And it's funny because when I first started dancing and learning Samoan, I would just feel like an imposter. Right? I would feel like an imposter. But we're going to get to that because dance is a huge part of your life. But I want to go back because we're talking about growing up in Hawaii. And you were fortunate enough to sit at the knee of your grandparents and be immersed in Samoan culture. What was it like? Because you have brothers and sisters and cousins and whatnot. What was it like, you know, we're living in modern day, we're living in Hawaii, we're living in America. But that's what I love about Samoan culture is wherever you folks move in the world, it's gonna always be the culture first.
Yes.
What was it like? Was it difficult to grow up in Hawaii and modern day, but have to sit with grandma? Or was it just like you said, right out of the womb, I already knew?
Yeah, I feel like I was destined for that.
Ooh, I like that.
Like not that I didn't like it. At first you're like, oh, why am I stuck here? But then as as they speak to you, tell you stories, I just became so engaged. My mom's mom, my grandma Mapu, she actually kind of pitched this whole dancing idea. Yeah.
How old were you?
I was 4.
Really?
Yeah. I was 4 years old.
Is that a Samoan tradition or custom where, because like in Hawaii, when there's certain things, practices, and traditions, they'll see a child and go, they're gonna do that.
You're the chosen one.
You're the chosen
Yes.
one. Not your choice, but you're the chosen one. So you were that chosen one.
Yes. So all of my cousins know, all of my aunties and uncles know that I was grandma's favorite. I was.
You, in essence, you officially are the keeper of the family's knowledge.
Yes.
Wow, that's heavy.
Yeah. So, I mean, with her, it was so easy. So from elementary to maybe about right before middle school, I spent with my mom's mom.
Wow.
And then we kind of did our own thing from middle school to high school. But right after high school, I spent with my dad's mom.
Who was more intense in teaching and training? Or let me ask you this way. So were grandma them the teachers, like they grab you by the shoulders and say, this is how you do it? Or you just sat and observed?
They were hands-on.
Ooh.
Yeah. So my mom's mom, she was kind of bedridden. So
Okay.
a lot was just speaking to us. My dad's mom, she was fully mobile, ready to throw anything at you. And it was like the wrong answer, the wrong thing you do.
Really?
Like, yeah.
Where was what is the word?
Sasa.
Sasa. Where was her favorite place to sasa?
Oh my gosh, it's the back of your head. That's all of us.
That is.
It's like,
that's a Samoan thing, right?
I think so. I really.
And it's funny because in Hawaiian culture, they always say you should never hit the head.
Yeah.
Right. And my Samoan friends, when I was young, I used to tell my grandparents, "Hey, you know my friend." Right? They always get hit in the head.
Yeah, it's funny because I mean, our generation is having kids, and anytime we smack them upside the head, they're like, "Don't hit them," and I'm like,
right. Look at me, I'm okay.
Just a few years ago, you was doing the same thing.
So you got a chance. I'm amazed. I'm amazed that you got to grow up with both. I want to go to parents now. So both parents Samoan.
Yes.
Male Samoan, female Samoan. Who's tougher? I mean, I don't even know if that's a fair question because, or we should say, who are you more afraid of?
I always tell this to people, especially when I'm being bullied or whatever, or whenever something goes on. I'm only afraid of two people: God and my mom.
Ooh. God and my mom.
My dad was this big bouncer bodyguard or whatever, but I was more afraid of my mom.
See, I was just gonna say, if you're watching and you're looking at it, and you're going, I know, yes, Dad was every club, everybody that needed security, everybody that needed to feel safe. That was Dad, and you're not even afraid of him.
No.
That is God and Mom. If you're joining us right now, we're talking Samoan culture. Growing up in Hawaii, in the Samoan culture, rooted. Next segment is jump into, I want to really talk about the dance, because the creative side behind you, amazing. That's what we're doing right now, diving into Samoan culture on Culturized. Air&C Travel Center, best group tours throughout the world. Let's go travel and see the world to make beautiful memories. Call 808-951-9800 today. Long's Drugs is always here for Hawaii, providing your family with their local favorites and accessible health and wellness services to keep you safe and healthy. Make Long's a part of your day. Windows Hawaii. Trust Windows Hawaii. Hey, what's up? How's it? Aloha. Welcome back to Culturized. Thank you so much for joining us. Really quick, I have to say a huge mahalo to Island Craft Fairs and all of their vendors. I don't know if you guys see this right here, but this is all for you. All this stuff right here. This is. I gotta say, and we're gonna mention who they are a little bit, but I was gonna say we should just eat it now, but we'll wait. We are sitting with Reo Tafaʻi. Is that how Tafaʻi, right?
Yes.
So. We've known each other through so many different connections, of course, through Dad, and we were talking about Dad earlier. Growing up, Mayor Wrights, Kuhio Park Terrace, going to McKinley, all these, and growing up in Hawaii at the time when there was a lot of, even your peers, because even my peers, when I was growing up, it's like, they wanted to be very, very Western, very American, very, you know what I mean? And you stayed close to culture.
Yeah.
Your first thing was you were the chosen one. You're going to know all the knowledge of the family. But dance specifically was that part of culture?
Yes.
What was the first? First of all, what kind of dances are there in Samoan? So I Siva Fa'atau Pati, right?
Yes. That's done by the men.
Okay.
There is one of the sivas is called a ma'ulu'ulu.
Ooh.
So ma'ulu'ulu means like a light drizzle.
Ooh. I didn't know that.
That's done to kind of replicate the light drizzle of the rain. So in that siva, it's mostly done by women, but you can include men and show their more feminine side. But there's no clapping, there's no loud noises. It's just hand motions, footwork, simple stuff. Nothing extravagant.
It's funny you just said simple stuff. Have you guys ever tried to dance Samoan? On and off topic. What do they call this? Is there a word for it?
So they call it ngengo.
Ngengo.
Yeah. So G-E-G-O,
Okay.
ngengo. So whenever they would tell you ngengo lo'ulu, and we're like, okay, this looks Tongan.
Okay, that was my question. So when I was learning Samoan, One, I realized as soon as I started learning Samoan Siva, I had 2 left feet. Like I could dance hula, I could do Tahitian. As soon as it came to Samoan, I was just I couldn't. So I always had to ask that. What was it called again?
The ngengo.
Nyang. Okay.
Yes.
Now, so that was okay. So we talked Siva Fa'ataupati by the men, and then what other dances are there?
So with me here in Hawaii, I've actually I wouldn't say specialized, but it's more of my area that I focus on is the tawalunga.
Yes.
The tawalunga is done by the High Chief's daughter.
Okay.
She ends the show or any event that they have going on in the village for the government. She ends the show. So the tawalunga is done by the princess, of course.
You totally just corrected. I just learned something. I'm always learning, but she ends the show.
Yes.
See, for a long time I thought, and of course when I MC shows, Taulunga comes out and it's like, and I would always say, now I got to correct what I say, because I'd always say the princess is here to welcome you. She's actually, no, you guys got to go. After me, I'm pow. No way. Okay. Yeah. And traditionally it was the High Chief's daughter.
Yes.
And of course, as we move on in time, is there, when did it I didn't even know if it's okay, but when did it become okay for just not a High Chief's daughter to do it?
I'm so not sure, because I think once everyone became more westernized, it was just they kind of just watered it down.
Right.
But ideally, that's what I grew up with, and that's what I follow.
That was my next question. Are you more of a traditional thinker and practicer, or are you one of those that say, okay, I can take tradition and I can move it forward?
So a little bit of both.
Nice.
Only because we still have our elders and those that have come before us. The hardest part is our old school is their new school.
Oh, say that again.
Our old school is their new school.
Wow. Our old school is their new school.
Yeah.
So if we still, I love the fact that you're thinking about our elders first in our kupuna. If you're joining us, thank you so much for doing that. We are at Culturised. We're sitting down talking Samoan culture. We got all kinds of stuff coming up right here. At Aloha Kia, you know a guy. Visit them at any of their 7 dealerships statewide. Purchase a brand new Kia using Aloha Kia Express. Learn more at alohakia.com. Hey, what's up? How's it? Aloha. It is me, Makani. Welcome to Culturised. How do you say greetings in Samoan?
Talofa.
Talofa, right? Is there a way to just talofa, or is there like, if it's, because I know we're going to get back to dance, but I just thought about it now. Within Samoan language, there's different levels of how and who to talk to.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Is that it's still today?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
So is it like within the family or just socially?
It's both. So amongst common people, if you're just talking you and your siblings, you would just use the common language. When you're speaking to an elder, there's a different lingo that you use.
Wow.
When you're speaking with a high chief, there's a different lingo. You have that lingo. And then when you're speaking to a pastor or any dignitary, it's a different lingo.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So even if it's somebody of the church, wow.
Yes.
Did you learn all those things as well from your grandparents?
I did it. I mean, I listened to them speak.
And you picked
But
that
if
up.
I had to like literally sit down and talk to somebody, I'm like, no, I'm just gonna give it to you in English. Sorry.
See, because the fact that you said our old school is their new school, which means they have a little of learning from us, and we have a lot of learning from them. Because I always wonder that, because I would listen, dancing in shows backstage, I would notice that when the Samoans were together, they would talk differently. Even the tone of voice, even how they approach somebody was very like, and I would notice those things like, wow. I was always intrigued because even with living in contemporary and modern society, that was innate in them.
Yeah.
Like they would know, okay, I know who he is. Is it fair to say even that? So you would, within the Samoan culture, you would already have to know if somebody is higher than you or
what status they are.
Wow.
Correct.
And if you didn't know, then you just like, no, sorry, I'm not going to talk to you.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Kind of. But if you're at any event or out with family, they'll notify you. Like, so if there's a funeral and someone's coming to bring gifts or, food or whatever, before they'll call. Like, and our family would be like, okay, are you coming with any pastors? Are you coming with any paramount chiefs? Are you coming with any high chiefs? And we just have to prepare.
Smart.
Yeah.
And even that gift giving,
Yes.
we want to get into that, but we're talking dance. We want to go back to dance. I don't know why I just thought of like. It's funny because to me, you're this walking encyclopedia of Samoan knowledge, right? And you're my go-to, right? You're my go-to. So greetings, talofa. We always, a lot of times, when we're with our friends and we're leaving, hey, what is that?
You're saying farewell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So tofa means bye. Soifua basically means to live well.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's intense.
Yeah.
I say it all the time. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I want to get back now to dance because there's all these. The thing about Samoan culture, I love it because there's so many different traditions and things that you do. So we go back to Taolunga, which I say is your expertise because I've watched you create some siva that is just like wow. I want to get into the costuming first of all of a Taolunga, kapa. I've seen like leaves before.
Yes. So back then, that was like their only resource of making clothing, were the plants, the barks of the trees, the leaves. So they call that the ofulaula'au.
Oh, okay.
Basically made of leaves. People would just literally go out to their garden.
See, that's what I love about
it. Was so amazing. And now that it's rare that you see it now because it's so much work.
How important is costuming in that?
Very important.
Very important. I want you to hold that thought because if you're joining us, this is Culturized. If you're joining us on Network TV, I want you to, after this, go to YouTube for our extended version. But before we do that, I just got to say mahalo, mahalo, mahalo. How do you say thank you in Samoan?
Fa'afetai telelava.
Fa'afetai telelava for being here. All this, I just want to say really quick, and we're going to talk about it. Mahalo to Mandy's Munchies. We've got all these Hawaii Freeze treats, ugly sticks, sweet on you. All these, my friends from Island Craft Fairs. This is all going to be for you, and there's even more. So this is just a mahalo for you being here. But don't go too far. Go to YouTube because we are going to talk about all the Samoan bad words on our extended version right here on Culturized. Hey, what's up? How's it? Aloha, it is me, Makani. Welcome to the extended version. Why? Because there's so much we can learn from Reo Tafaʻi about Samoan culture, and I'm all about it. I get greedy now because I'm learning things, and it's funny because we've been talking about who you are and growing up in the Samoan culture, and you being the keeper of your family's knowledge and traditions, and I've danced for so long. And I love this because, terms I use and say, and we all learn from our Samoan friends, right? And, like I'll tell one of my friends, like, right? It's like, they would just, it just means bye. But how you just explain it is like, man, it's a whole different thing. So if you are joining us, comment down below. You've got any comments you want to talk about or share with us about Samoan culture, about how you grew up. Let us know. You got any questions for that? I'll do that right now. But we're going to continue to talk story. We left off talking about your expertise in dance, in siva, and you create dances for Taolunga. And Taolunga, again, is the High Chief's daughter.
Yes.
You see, I'm learning, you guys. And at the end of a festivity or celebration, that's when she comes out. I like watching people outside of culture when the Taolunga comes and money just starts going. What do they call that? Or is there a word for it?
I honestly didn't grow up knowing a word for it. I know when you go and throw money, we basically say, go and lafo your money, to give your money. And I honestly don't know where that comes from, because sometimes I'm amazed at people just walking up there like from their bag, and it's just like,
I always joke about it. It's like Samoans created to make it rain.
Yeah, it's like,
if there's a word and you guys are watching, you know what that is. But I'm always intrigued, and they just go at it, right? Has that always been a thing? Is that a traditional thing, or?
I mean, since I was growing up, it's been that way. Since I was dancing from the time I was 4 till now, it's been done. So
because gift giving is a huge gesture.
Oh yes.
I remember going to weddings where I think about 2 hours of the wedding was just everybody giving. They come with those long mats.
Yes.
Like cases of wahoo, tuna. And is that that's just a tradition, that gift giving was a thing, or?
Yeah, so back then, fine mats were a big thing, like a really big thing. The bigger the mat, the more money you got, kind of thing. So when people, they call it a si'ialofa. So if the family's coming to the family that's mourning, they would come with their finest mats, a monetary gift and things of that sort. So back then there was no cars, nothing. They walked all this way. So to kind of return the favor, or to thank them, all this food. And when my grandmother told me that, I was like, but if they walked, how are they going to carry all of that
That's
back?
what I would always say that. I was at my friend Samoan when I said, what do you guys do with all this? I was like, that mat is like the length of the church. Like, where do you put it? I don't know if it's just me, but I got a handful of Samoan weddings that I went to. Is there like this little competition of gift giving?
Oh my God.
I love how you rolled your eyes, because it seemed like that to me. I'm sitting there going, okay, this family brings this, and then this family goes, no, we'll do this. And then I see from the side, they're like, uncles and aunties pulling more money out of look at this. Is that what it is?
So you always have that one auntie or uncle that's so competitive. And if it's two families of very high status, they can go at it for days. The exchange can go on forever. So you can have that auntie like literally whispering in the talking chief's ear, like, okay, no, we're going to give more. Hold on.
Really?
Wait, I'm grabbing them. Like, okay.
I love that, because I was getting a sense of like, okay, something's going on. I'm watching one family come up and they give that, and the next family is like they're negotiating.
Yeah.
And then they add stuff in, and there's another case of tuna that comes, another case of corned beef that comes, a bigger fine mat. Growing up, even now, so all the things you've learned growing up with grandma, mom and dad, Samoan culture, how much of that or all of it do you put into your adult life?
I would say about 85%.
Nice.
Only because my parents kind of kept us real protected from the world.
Yes.
So that, I mean, now that we're learning on our own, we try to, all the teachings that I've had, I try to kind of modernize it, and then it doesn't work. Then you're like, just do it the old way.
Again, I love how this always organically, because that's what I was going to add. It's like, because I love the fact that you are rooted in tradition, but I always ask the question when it comes to any native culture, when did we stop, or did we stop moving forward, right? Like you said, back in the day, they only had leaves to make their Talo, and as we move forward, we can use other things, right? I like it. So 85%, and then the rest is you try and use those traditions into contemporary times. But I like that you also said sometimes it doesn't work.
Yeah, sometimes it just doesn't work the way you want it to.
If there is Samoans today that are listening, even the younger ones, that, and you can answer it if you want, but it's a cool thing right now to be Samoan. Right? I love how you're like, what? How off camera earlier, I was like, why? But to me, I think there's so many aspects behind it. because of everything we talked about, the humbleness, the strength, the family unit of Samoan culture. Do you think there has been a little bit of a disconnect today with younger Samoans and how you grew up?
Yes, there has been a disconnect. So Samoa is called the land of the happy people. Although, everyone loves being happy, we're also known for being respectful. And I feel that that's kind of watered down now. And I mean, I'm not saying how you should raise your kids, but I believe it starts at home.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
It starts from home because, I mean, you can't tell me that your elder that migrated from Samoa didn't teach your parents who didn't teach you. So I'm pretty sure we had the same upbringing, but it's, now it's kind of sketch with everyone's just trying to, now that we're in the land where money is everything, it's kind of...
I always say money and self-centricity. Everybody wants, hey, look at me.
Yes.
I've got the facade of being a native, but I just really don't know. If you could encourage, and that's another thing that's whatever ethnicity you are, sometimes we get to a point where we feel we're either too old, or I shame. I know I'm Samoan, I know I'm Hawaiian, I know I'm this, but we have that pride where you don't want to go out and learn.
Yeah.
Right. I was lucky enough when I was started to dance because I didn't want to feel like I was just doing some motions on the stage. I remember it was O'Brien Eselu, and he said, hey, if you're dancing Samoan, you go out and you go talk to a Samoan. What are you doing? I know I'm teaching you this, but what are you doing? You dancing teaching, go see what it is. I think we get to points, like you said, in modern times where we get disconnected and it's like, let me just live the facade. If you could encourage or you could say anything to younger Samoans that they look it, they use the flag, they use all that, they faumu, they chihu and all those things, but they're really disconnected. What would you say?
So I think you kind of hit it on the nose, is that pride. But I feel it's the pride of letting others know you don't know.
Oh.
Yeah. The disconnect is when kids who grew up in Samoa come here, can't speak English, things of that sort. We in America tend to tease them that, you can't speak English. But we have these questions like, I want to know how to be Samoan or what they do, but we're afraid to ask them because we already tease them for not knowing our culture.
It's so ironic, right?
So I think that's the big disconnect. My encouragement is to just ask. Both my grandmothers and my parents, I literally can tuck their ears off and I will ask till I get to the very bottom.
How were they about answering?
Sometimes Polynesians in general are so famous for sweeping things under the rug.
You're right. We are the champions of passive aggressive.
Yes. So every time they're like, I don't know, go ask somebody else. But I would be so consistent, and I'm like, the very next day, same question. They're like, are you gonna stop asking? I'm like, no, not till you answer me.
I love that, and I love the fact you said you have to have a pride in saying that I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know, so I want to go learn and be consistent in asking these questions. I had an episode a few seasons back, and we talked about Filipino culture with Clement Bautista. And he talked about the differences with Hawaii Filipinos, Philippines Filipinos, continent West Coast and East Coast. Is there a huge difference? I mean, most of us know there's American and Western Samoa. Is there a huge difference in culture?
Yes.
Wow. Is there a competition?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. In American Samoa, it's very westernized. So the women are like the homemakers, does everything.
Wow.
In Western Samoa, the men do everything. So they cook, they clean, they work. Whenever there's a fa'alavelave or a family event, they're the ones carrying the big fine mats, taking the suas or the food offerings and things of that sort.
Your family originates from where? Where's the motherland?
Both. So
Wow.
I know in American Samoa, my dad is from Whangaiku and Whangamalo.
Okay.
And those are two different sides of the island.
Really? So even within the island, there's going to be competition? Whoa.
And then my mom's from Leonge, Whankongo, and a few other villages, but she has roots. Well, both my parents have roots in Western Samoa also. So it's kind of like you're trying to keep up and you're like, wow, what is going on, you know?
And so within Samoa, obviously, like you said, there's some differences. Now, do you know even bigger differences when you come to Hawaii?
Yes.
Wow.
It's even more of a competition because now you aren't under a watchful eye. You have this freedom now. When you come from, when you come from the motherland, it's like you never had that freedom back home because it was just school or work, home, family things you have to do and take care of, and of course your own plantation, things of that sort. When you come here, it's literally work and home. In between,
that's true.
Whatever you do in between,
that's true.
That's up to you.
We're slowly going to wrap this up, but I want to throw some words out there and some things that a lot of us, even in regular, whether you're Samoan or not, you hear these words, you hear these concepts. Maybe you know, maybe you don't know. Fe'au.
Fe'au is a chore. So anytime it's commonly used in your home. Yeah, so growing up, we had fe'aus like longer than a squirrel. Oh my gosh.
Like anything from washing clothes to cleaning the yard
it was anything, washing clothes. So our family was famous on Saturday mornings. If you woke up and there was old Samoan classics playing, you knew you were cleaning that day, that whole day. I promise you. And it was like, move the fridge, sweep in the back.
No way.
Take down everything from the closet.
See, that's the kind of cleaning I like.
Oh my God.
Like you taking everything outside, right? So fe'au, a lot of people hear that word fe'au. What are the things that people we talked about throwing money when the taulunga comes out. Siva fa'ataupa slap dance, everybody knows that. And what was that originally for? Was it was just for fun, or was it a way to improve?
No, so it was actually, it started from the mosquitoes.
Really? So when people joke about it, that's
because not everyone was fortunate enough to have mosquito nets.
That's right, because that's what
home. Yeah. So in the middle of the night, you just hear pack, 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 because they're they're sleeping, but they can feel the mosquito.
And so, okay, so again, learning more things. I talk about it when I do shows, and I thought it was just a joke. I mean, no. But that's how it was. See, now I got to change what I say, because I would give this to you. It's to improve the dexterity, the coordination of the something. No, it's just for mosquitoes. And it went into that.
Yes.
Another thing that's hugely popular right now, it's even non-Samoans do it. Everyone is doing the Chihu. So do that sign. And I got to share a story with you, and I did earlier. A matai, and a matai is a chief, right?
Yes.
I had this. What is that? First of all,
I don't know. It's like, I think that's every culture. They have their own way. So like in the middle of the night, or like when you're doing chores, all you hear is "hey" and we're
okay.
But we're so immune to it, so we're gonna turn and look because we know it's an elder.
So the version of Filipino,
yes,
right? Because I learned that at shows, because every time I would hear that, all the Samoans would go, and I was like, "What is that?" I said, "Is that how you guys call each other?" That's another one. So, but what the Chihu. So this Matai says, "Hey," I was like, "Oh shucks, what?" So I go, and he puts his hand on my shoulder. And he proceeds to talk about the Chihu, and he goes, "It's not a Chihu." I said, "No, I know, Uncle." He goes, "It's a faumu." And a faumu, he's telling me about it, but faumu, what is? It's not Chihu. The sound, that's an onomatopoeia. Chihu is the sound that you're making, right? But what is it called?
I actually
some people say faumu, right?
Yeah, it's a faumu. I just actually learned this, I think in 2017 or 2018, is that Chihu is actually modernized from what is actually said.
Really?
Yeah. So from what I was told by an elder is that it's called Tuli Isusu.
Tuli Isusu.
Yeah. So basically it's the noises and everything that's going on like during a war. So it's like a war cry.
Right.
And I was like, man, where did they get Chihu from? Because that sounds nothing close to that. Like...
Say it again?
Tuli Isusu.
Tuli Isusu. And that's just the sounds of war. Yes. That is amazing to me. So listen, I would joke about it, but I guess I'm right, because I would say whenever I hear a faumu, you got to do this. Because somebody's about to get licking.
You got to get in your car and get out of there.
But it's developed into this thing where everybody's having a good time.
Yeah.
There you go, my friends. The faumu, probably one of the most popular things in the Samoan culture that everybody's doing right now. Again, it was called the
Tuli Susu.
Tuli Susu. You guys say Chihu, faumu. But back in the day, we were going to war. Tell me what you think about the faumu, what you think about Samoan culture you want to learn. We'll get in touch with Reo Tafaʻi. Can anybody get in touch with you on social media, or you're like, no, leave me alone?
Yeah, that's fine.
So you're at, what is your at?
My Facebook is just my name,
okay,
Reo Tafaʻi, and then my Instagram is just InstaReo.
InstaReo, yeah. I love it. So mahalo for being here again. This is all for you. So let's. I want to just see what we got. Do you like limui, lychee? You've got, I know, it's all like sugar. Everybody giving us sugar. High Freeze Treats, we got to thank them. Ugly Sticks, you like beef jerky. We've got My Sweet World 808. Oh, look at these. Caramel cheese balls.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Mandy's Munchies. You like marshmallows?
Yeah.
Butter beer marshmallows. Anyway, we got to thank Island Craft Fairs for all of these wonderful prizes, all of their vendors. So if you're joining us, thank you so much. Hit the like button, the subscribe, the notification, and let us know what you think, and share with us your mana'o and your thoughts on Samoan culture right here on Culturized.